Hello, testing. Hopefully you can hear me out there. If you can't, please let me know. But I figured while I was driving, I would go live. There's a few things that I wanted to share, and thought I would do it on here, YouTube Live. I had a pretty rough week last week. That's why I haven't put any videos out recently. Some of you, if you've ever seen my videos, Buck, my little blonde Shih Tzu, who is he was in a lot of my videos, and he was my best friend, really. He was with me every day, went on a lot of jobs with me, and he if it wasn't super hot or super cold outside, he got to go to work with me, and he loved to go work with me. He liked going anywhere, you know. But he passed away this past week, so it's been a pretty rough week, and that's why I haven't put any videos out this week. So, but I do plan to get back to it, and have a few coming out here soon. A lot of my videos come from questions I get. So, you know, I'll get questions commenting on videos in particular, or on our website, newhvacguide.com. We will get questions on there. And so a lot of my videos sometimes are based on those questions I'm getting, because I figure if somebody else has that, you know, if somebody has that question, somebody else might have that question as well. And so we've been dealing with that, and so on. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you happen to catch this video, if you've caught this and you have something that, you know, you're curious about or whatever, feel free to, you know, let me know. Just comment on a video and say, hey, will you do a video on this or that? And I've had people do that, and I've never, you know, I've sometimes not done it for one reason or another, you know. I mean, I can only make so many videos so often, but I try to. So if somebody's got a question, I try to do a video answering that question, if it, you know, makes sense. So yeah, so I just want to throw that out there. One of the videos that I've done recently, you know, has really taken off, which is awesome. You know, we've got over 100,000 views on it, and the video is called 3 HVAC Secrets That Contractors Don't Want You to Know, don't want homeowners to know, is what it really means. And I've had a lot of, you know, good feedback, but I've had a lot of contractors attack me over that one particular video, and I get comments on a lot of videos. You know, sometimes some of the things I say is not necessarily accurate for all parts of the country. You know, so what's true here in Virginia may not be true on the West Coast or in a hot climate. So I've noticed that, but one of the comments I got this morning, and the reason I even bring this up, is the guy said something to the effect of, you know, why are you telling homeowners this stuff? This is, you know, and he called me a few names and whatever. He's like, he's in 3rd grade, but he's like, why are you telling homeowners this stuff? And then, as if any homeowner's really gonna, you know, read through all the comments and see what he had to say, he gave a message to the world that said, hey, all you homeowners out there, make sure you don't listen to this. Make sure you don't go into your thermostat settings and change anything, because, you know, you could really mess something up. And I think that probably might be true with some homeowners, right? I mean, if you don't know what you're doing and you go into the programming, you could, you know, change something and mess it up, right? But my response to him is, some homeowners are just as smart as you, pal. So I just don't understand. I think my thought process, and again, I do agree with him with some homeowners, but my thought process is, if I sell a thermostat to a homeowner and they own it, it's their thermostat, who am I to tell them what they can and can't do with their own thermostat? Who am I to say you can't have a manual for your thermostat? That's my thought process. A lot of heating and air guys. In fact, I've had employees. Of course, I say, well, as long as you work, because I just think that it's the right thing to do. Whether they mess it up or not, it's their thermostat. How dare you tell them to have that manual? There's no qualifications to get into programming of a thermostat. You don't have to be a heating and air certified, licensed, and insured contractor to program a thermostat. That's just my thought process. A lot of heating and air guys disagree with that, and some of them will probably send me even more nasty messages because of that. I was talking to my wife this morning actually about the message that I got from that guy, and I was telling her sorry, but I was telling her, you know, I like that my channel, my YouTube channel, I've used it to help homeowners and tell them that, you know, tell them things that other contractors or heating and air guys won't tell them. Now, I am not a DIY channel. I know there's a few on YouTube. That's not my channel. I'm not going to get on there and show you how to, you know, install an air conditioner or do a tune-up on an air conditioner. I'm not going to do that. I do think you should be qualified to do certain things in heating and air to do those things. You know, you need to sit in a classroom for at least a moment before you go, you know, messing with that stuff. You actually could create a lot of damages and or problems that could cost you a lot of money to fix, right? But what I was telling her is, you know, my channel, I've used it to tell homeowners the things that I do think that, you know, they should know, whether their contractor likes it or not. You know, if it's your thermostat, for example, who is your contractor to tell you? Who is that technician? Who is that 30-year-old technician who's probably half their age or whatever, to tell them you can't have access into your own thermostat? You don't know what you're doing. You're not qualified to get in there. So that's really honestly what I've gotten to. It's become my niche on YouTube. There's other YouTube channels that the guys have been doing this way longer than I have, or they work on stuff that I don't, or whatever. They have knowledge that they will share with the world and other heating and air guys. And I've watched a lot of those videos too. I really think a lot of them are great. But that's not my channel. I found out that that's my niche. That's what I'm going to offer to homeowners. I'm going to tell them what heating and air guys don't want them to know in a lot of cases. And so why do I go through all that? If you catch this video, I go through all of that because if there is something that you're curious about or you got a question on, leave me a comment. I will possibly do a video. And I say possibly because, again, like I had one customer say, or one viewer say, hey, can you do a video on these two specific products? And so I have not done a video on that because, you know, I feel like there's other videos that, you know, I'm not going to just sit down and do a video on the two systems he's comparing because he's gotten quotes on them, right? I don't even know that I could do it justice anyway. A lot of times if you have questions between two products or two brands, just Google it. You know, you can go on Google and probably find better information that I'm going to share in a video anyway. So that's kind of been my mantra. I've kind of, you know, I'm kind of trying to share that stuff that a lot of heating and air guys are condescending towards homeowners and say, well, you know, you can't have access to this, or you're not qualified to know what you're asking. And that's just, I do disagree with that. I think if it's your heating and air system that you paid thousands of dollars for, and your thermostat and your so on, you should be able to know certain things about it. You should, you should at least have the manual for it. It's your system, you should have the manual for it. So, if you're, I've seen where a few folks have jumped on. If you've watched any of my videos and saw Buck, my little blonde-headed Shih Tzu that has been in my videos, multiple videos, because he was always with me. He did pass away this past week, and that's, he was my best friend, so I took it pretty rough there. Sorry about that. I had somebody stop in the middle of the road. But, so yeah, Buck passed away, and so that's why I haven't done a video in a few days. YouTube was the last thing on my mind. But I got a few videos. I have 3 in the hopper. I've got 3 coming out. So 2 of them are to finish up the series that I did recently, and it was called the Top 50 Features, Tips, Tricks, Hacks of Thermostats. And I think if somebody were to sit down and go, just watch those 5 videos when it's all done, you're going to know so much more than the average homeowner or some heating and air guys when it comes to those features, if you will. I don't get into some of the advanced features, mostly because, to be completely honest with you, I'm not even sure I know every single advanced feature that some of these thermostats have. I think there are certain things that if you have a residential heating and air system and that thermostat is factory set to do certain things for that particular residential system, you probably shouldn't be messing with those features anyway. You shouldn't be changing certain things that the industry holds as the standard, if you will. So, anyway, wanted to do that. Wanted to touch on that in this video. The last thing I'll say before I jump off of live here is I've had for some reason, and I probably shouldn't even throw this out there, but I'm going to anyway. As a business owner, I had homeowners, customers, and some of them, they're just someone that interacted with one of our employees. We had a lady just a few days ago, one of our employees, he's a great guy. I'm blessed to even know the guy, much less employ him. So he has the biggest heart of anybody that you would ever meet. And he pulled out in front of her. He made a mistake. And would I have been mad? Absolutely. I probably would have been upset too, especially if my daughter had been in the car. I probably would have called too. I would have called the business and said, hey, just so you know, you've got a guy out here. He needs to know he's doing a few unsafe things. But I can promise you, I cannot see myself, when a business owner, now that I'm own a business, I could not see myself trying to ruin someone else's business. I built my business from nothing. I started it at 2 a.m. I made my first logo, and the next day I pulled my first business license, and it was a dream. I moonlighted. I already had a job, and I started it on the side at first and eventually built it up. And so when folks say I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, I can honestly say I did. There were blood, sweat, and tears that were put into that. So to just want to put 1-star reviews, I had a guy just last week. The reason I even bring it up is it's been a lot recently. People are like, hey, I want to talk to the owner. They'll call the business. And I want to talk to the owner. And I've gotten aware now, I'm like, what do they want? Because if they're calling me just to bless me out, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for you to bless me out. Leave your 1-star review if you have to. I think it's horrible for you to think that you should do that. I think that now, do I think we should be reviewed honestly by a customer of ours? If you're a customer and you call us and you've had a bad experience, you genuinely believe that my company deserves a 1-star review for your experience, then I mean, who am I to say you shouldn't be able to leave that review? I think there's certain restaurants that probably deserve the reviews they get, but at the same time, because one of my employees made a small mistake, or you didn't like our pricing, right? You're going to leave me a 1-star review because you didn't like our pricing, but my employee told you up front what our pricing. Sorry, I'm going through a rough patch here, so hopefully I don't lose complete signal here. But anyway, so I was trying to remember where I left off, but basically, I just think it's horrible the way some of these people think they can treat others, especially when you're talking about a small business who is doing the best we can in some cases. I've seen signs here recently since the pandemic started. Some businesses will even put on their door, and I think it's great actually because they're just being transparent, but they'll say, hey, we can't find enough folks to work here, so be nice to the people that are coming to work. Or it'll say something to that effect. And I really like that because they're just being transparent and saying, hey, we're having trouble filling some spots here, and that might be why you're not having the best customer service at the moment, Yeah, I mean, I know what I was talking about. So the guy, he told my employee, yes, please do the work. I'm fine with the price, and so on. And then afterwards wanted to speak to me and blessed me out over the phone. I want to badly I want to call him out right now on the internet and just throw his name out there because he was such a jerk for something that we told him up front. We told him up front, this is what our price is, and he said nothing. He said, okay, do the work, and then afterwards he had a problem with it, and such a problem that he thought he could just dog me and cuss me. So, I just think that ultimately, I think unless you're an actual customer of somewhere, for example, if you are at a restaurant and you never eat there, right? So for example, I know I went to a restaurant yesterday. My wife and I went to a restaurant, and next door to the restaurant was a cigar shop. And I didn't love that because in the restaurant I could smell that. I'm not a smoker, not a big fan of the smell of smoke. But by gosh, I'm not going to go and leave that business a 1-star review just because I could smell their smoke. It's not their fault. They're just a small business trying to get by, just like everybody else. And so anyway, I did get a couple questions here. I'm about to get off of this, and let me just see here. My brand new Daikin mini split blows out a sticky smell. Any idea what that might be? Sticky smell. Ms. Garcia, I'm not sure what you mean by sticky smell. There are systems out there if it's like a sweet smell. So, and you can Google this. If you get a sweet smell coming from your heating and air, and it's kind of hard to explain. A lot of people say sweet because it's kind of, I can't describe it other than calling it sweet, but it's not like sweet like cinnamon buns coming out of your oven. But anyway, a lot of times if you do get that kind of an odor, you need to call your tech out. You need to, they need to come look at that. And in some cases, it may be a refrigerant leak. And then there's other odors as well that could be related to, different components with that system. I've had fan motors, I've had transformers. So you buy a transformer, a little step-down transformer for a heating and air system, and you smell it, and just straight out of the box, it has an odor. Not life-changing, not horrible, but that brand new part has an odor, like you just smell it. And so sometimes if you have, a part that, or a new system, it's sort of like that new car smell, when you buy a new car, and some folks like that smell and some folks don't. And so after a while, if you, continue to put air fresheners or whatever, that smell will dissipate. There is a such thing with heating and air systems as well, that, they have a smell that would need to dissipate eventually. So I don't know if that answers your question, Ms. Garcia, but how can I contact you? You can comment on this video for sure, and I'll do my best. Maybe describe what you mean by sticky smell. But yeah, I did a video. It's one of my older videos, but it was one of my first videos to kind of get a bunch of views, and it was called, bad smell or dirty sock syndrome is what a lot of folks call it. And back then, my YouTube channel was not what it is today. It was just me trying to sell products for my little heating and air business. So a lot of my responses or comments were, related to that. But if you are getting a bad smell, go back to that video, and I'll just summarize it really quickly. I say in the video, if you have a bad smell coming from your heating and air system, it could be stagnant water. Stagnant water gets a smell. And the way to fix it is either A, you can turn on your extended fan runtime, so that it dries the coil every time the system runs. And the second one would be to add a UV light to try to, keep that coil as clean as possible. And then the third thing would be having a heating and air company. In the video, I say me, but now that we're getting more viewers across the nation, or whatever you want to call it, just whoever your local company, have them clean the coil really good. But sometimes people can have that smell with a brand new system. If they have a coil that's getting stagnant water, or the evaporator drip pan has water that's kind of sitting in there, they can get an odor from that. So there's also things you can add to the drain pan that will inhibit, microbial growth in the water, and maybe that could be putting off a smell. So anyway, I'm here at my appointment. It's almost 11:15. If you catch this video and you have a question, you've got a video you would like me to do, please comment really on any of my videos, and I will try to accommodate. And sometimes I don't do them right away. I'll usually add it to the list, if you will. But if you have a particular question, that's where I have gotten a lot of my video ideas in the past year. So thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.